What is up? My name is Douglas Nyback. This is DNA, which stands for Douglas Nyback Acting, which makes sense because this is the place you go if you want to learn the foundations and advanced techniques of film and television performance without having to spend any money to do it. Today, I'm diving into a topic that's near and dear to my heart. I coach between 20 and 30 actors a week, so I see all sorts of auditions, and these are 5 very common mistakes that actors make that tank their self-tapes. These are more advanced level things. These are things that don't generally get talked about on the internet, and they're things that are like really applicable and highly practical. This is stuff that does come up in my practice week on week on week on week. So let's help you troubleshoot before these things become an issue for you. Okay, the first thing that's on my list is actors making weak sauce choices. What do I mean by this? Actors too often go into auditions trying to guess what they think casting wants them to do, and instead of simply saying, all right, I gotta go in here, I have to pick a side and I need to start shooting. What we need to be doing as actors is asking, what non-negotiably does the story demand of me? And how do I do that in the most interesting way possible? And are all of my choices pointing to that, yes or no? If the answer is no, point all of your choices towards that thing. Your character needs something very specific. It is the responsibility the story has given you in the script. Too many actors go in trying to prove that they can act, try to prove that they're capable of bringing all sorts of levels and layers, as opposed to simply saying the script, the story has all sorts of levels and layers for me. My job is to get busy doing those things with my whole self, with everything that I got. Actors are always getting the note you need to make strong choices. Well, what does that actually mean? It means do the that is written and do it with your full chest. Go for it. When you watch your tape back, if the choices aren't working or if you're off base in your choices, it's the easiest diagnostic to make. You watch the take back and you're like, oh, very clearly I'm not pointed in the right direction. So what do? You switch sides, you point in another direction, and you get busy doing. Where actors really get hung up is you don't make any choices. You end up in no man's land where all the bombs drop. And then it becomes very hard to self-diagnose whether a tape is working or not because you haven't made any choices. The beautiful thing about self-tapes is that you can do a take, watch it back. There is no reason to be hesitant in the choices you're making because you can immediately diagnose. And the problems are way easier to diagnose when they are fully committed to. So don't make any weak sauce choices. That's number 1. Number 2, and this is one of the reasons why weak sauce choices happen. You create an unclear character. Where actors get really caught up is building a whole bunch of leaves and never building the tree. When it comes to character, there's character work you do when you're preparing for set or you're preparing a show and you've got plenty of time to do it. Then there's character work that you are doing in an audition where you have 24, if you're lucky, 48 hours to get the audition prepped. It's a different mindset. When you're preparing for set, generally there's more time to dive into nuance. This is where I love to sit down at a cafe and really just like build out the world of my character. Where is he from? What did he do growing up? What was his life like? Basically, my rule of thumb when I'm preparing for set is like, I want to know the guy to the degree that if I'm asked to improvise or I have to really do some stuff off the cuff, I can trust that I know the guy in my bones. That is not being asked of you in an audition. An audition is a very specific set of responsibilities. They are not going to change. Why do we know they're not going to change? Because you're self-taping alone in your house. Nobody is going to change the parameters but you, and why would you do that? You only need to build a character that justifies the behavior of that character in the scene. Your character is, in short, a person who does the things that are in the script. That is the actual only thing that you need to justify, and that's enough. So where do I start? I ask the broad question. Who is this character on a macro level? Meaning, how does he interact with the world and how does the world interact with him? This is like establishing a worldview. I'm an acting coach, I'm an actor, I'm a writer. That is the thing that by and large determines the vast majority of the choices that I make in a day and the vast majority of the ways other people interact with me in my day-to-day. That's where I start. And then we go into the micro. Micro is what kind of person becomes that? So what characteristics, in my case, pretty micro-focused, ambitious. I want to do good. I'm fascinated with people. I'm fascinated with helping people get better and achieve their goals. All of these things are characteristics about myself. And if I just have like 4 to 6 pages of life to get through, that's like 5 minutes of life. That's probably more than enough. That person is very likely going to be enough to justify the behavior of the character in the scene. Now, it's simple, it's clear, and if you find yourself confused after doing that, again, it becomes easy to diagnose. Oh, those simple things that I defined justify the vast majority of this, but this needs further justification. Great, then we isolate that and we create, with our imaginations, more character to justify that individual thing. Rather than trying to justify everything in this character's life, we only have to justify their behavior in the sides. It's a much quicker, much cleaner, and much more empowered way to operate, especially within the time crunch of auditions. The same goes for number 3, which is character relationships. This exercise is one of my favorite exercises to do. Take the line, "I love you," because this is the least likely to get you punched in the face in life. And through the course of a day, call your parents, tell them you love them. Talk to your partner if you have one, tell them you love them. Talk to your best friend, tell them you love them. If you're ordering a coffee from like a barista and they're like, "Here's your macchiato," just be like, "Love ya." You will see that the way that you behave in relation to delivering that line is going to dramatically change depending on the relationship that you have with that person. So the same way that we defined character, macro, micro, we do the same thing with all the relationships. Who is this person to me? This is a sibling. This is my doctor. This is my parent. This is a lover. This is whatever. A clear macro, how I interact with them in a broad sense. That's really all we need for the most part in auditions, especially when it comes to interacting with professions. When it comes to interacting with people we know better, like i.e. siblings, family, then we ask the question, well, what kind of sibling family relationship do I have with them? Is it functional? Is it dysfunctional? Meaning, if I'm getting into a fight with them, it's not just this fight, it's every fight I've ever had. There's so much more character history there. So that's a simple way to saturate. And I have family. So the parts of me that understand it flood in very effortlessly. With creating relationships, what we want to do is create containers that are clear to us so that all of the undefined parts of ourselves can just flow very clearly into those things and fill in all the gaps. Clear container provides space for our creativity. Once you learn that, your auditioning process becomes so much easier. Okay, number 4, real simple, volume. Okay, people play the distance between themselves and the reader. Like even in my studio, this is a relatively intimate space. It's pretty small. It's basically just like this painted wall, and the reader is still 5 to 6 feet away from me. In real life, on set, very often, coverage is on me and the other actor is like maybe a foot, maybe 2 feet in front of me. So the intimacy of the scene, even right now, I'm kind of speaking in a presentational way. I'm filling this room. But if I were teaching this class in film and television, I'd be bringing my volume down if I was just speaking to somebody who was directly in front of me. It's a much more intimate way of speech. It's not projected. It's not presented. The fundamental contract in auditioning is my mind knows that everything I'm doing is fake, and I'm asking my body to treat it like it's real. One of the fastest ways to do that is just to strip down, play the microphone, because the microphone represents that this person is just a couple of feet in front of me, and strip it down, bring it into a very intimate style of communication. And it becomes incredibly difficult to bullshit from here because this is a really clear contract. My brain is like, hey body, treat this fake like it's real. And as soon as I strip away any sense of projection or presentation, the body starts being like, oh yeah, this is what real feels like. It's the easiest hack to get yourself into something when you're feeling disembodied or you're feeling like it doesn't feel quote unquote real. That leads me into the 5th thing. If the camera doesn't see it, it didn't happen. Meaning a lot of actors take some of their best acting work over into the wings or down to the floor, and maybe it's Maybelline, but my eyelids will never be as interesting as my eyes. The thought, everything, all of the money, everything that you are being paid to do lives in your eyes. So you need to give the camera access to it. It is shocking the amount of actors who I work with that are like stuck in an intermediate plateau. They're like really, really good actors. And they're like, I'm not booking. And I watch their tapes back. We do like a self-tape diagnostic. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, you're a good actor. Camera can't see it. So casting can't prove to the producers that you're good at it. It's as simple as that. The only thing that exists is what was filmed. Is my thought process the thing that's being filmed? Yes or no? It's not to say that you can't break away. You can, but it has to be for a purpose, and it can't be your default. And way too many actors default down, and everybody needs to drop into the frame. The simplest and fastest way that I've ever been taught is to put my arms a shoulder width in front of me, to my left and right fingertips. It's as far left and as far right as I'll look on camera. And if I flip that around, that's as far down and as far up as I will look on camera. That is essentially the world in which I am in complete control, and I can guarantee that the audience is going to get access to all of the good acting I'm doing, which is the whole friggin' point. You chose the job in front of the camera. You chose the job that is not about hiding in any way. Get comfortable being seen. If you aren't comfortable being seen, no discomfort, no expansion, man. So those are 5 of the biggest acting mistakes that I see in self-tapes in my day-to-day practice. Again, can't stress this enough. This is extremely practical. This is from people I'm working with all the heckin' time. Everything on this channel is for the purpose of getting you better in a practical sense. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, comment, please share across your socials, send it to friends whom you think could benefit from it. Guys, I mean it when I say acting training is expensive. I am expensive as a coach. It's one of the reasons why I started this YouTube channel. There is a lot of information that is gate-kept behind money, and of course it is, but it's also, it shouldn't cost thousands and thousands of dollars to learn how to do this. So hence this YouTube channel. So I appreciate you. If you enjoyed this, please support us. Follow us on socials. If you really want to support us, you can check out our Patreon. If you subscribe over there, you get access to my entire Foundations program, which is an online acting course with like over 9 hours of comprehensive lessons. I appreciate you very much. I hope that this video is a bit of a lighthouse in the crazy storm that is choosing to be an actor, and go be people.